Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something huge. We're looking at the future of humanity and how it feels like we're right on the edge of this massive AI-driven change.
Yeah, it sounds almost like science fiction, doesn't it? But the person we're focusing on, Mo Gawdat, he's got serious credentials, former Google X exec.
Right.
And his message, especially recently, is incredibly urgent and, frankly, a bit alarming.
He's definitely known for that perspective. So what's the core idea we're unpacking today?
Well, it's this kind of dual message he has now. It's evolved. He's basically saying, look, a near-term dystopia that's pretty much baked in now, almost inescapable.
Okay, wow.
Dystopia. But, and this is the surprising part, he also believes a real utopia is possible, still within reach. But it really hinges on us, our choices, our mindset, like right now.
So our mission for this deep dive is to get into his latest thinking, pull out the key pieces from what he's been saying, and really try to understand this, well, frankly, alarming speed of AI and what it actually means for, our lives.
Exactly. We need to grasp why he's shifted his view.
Okay, so where do we start? What's the big change in his thinking compared to, say, a few years ago?
Well, if you go back to his book, Scary Smart, that was maybe
I
2021.
remember that one, yeah.
Back then, he was, I'd say, more optimistic. He seemed to genuinely think, okay, humanity can still sort of steer the ship, change course, avoid the worst stuff.
But that's definitely not where he is now. It sounds like his tone is much more stark.
Oh, completely. Yeah, stark is the word. He now believes a short-term dystopia is, and this is his word, inescapable.
Inescapable. And we're not talking like 50 years down the line. What's the timeline he's seeing?
Much closer. He's talking the next maybe 12 to 15 years. He even says we're seeing the first signs now in 2024,
Okay.
and that it really ramps up from 2026, 2027 onwards. It's like an unavoidable period of, well, societal difficulty.
And when he says dystopia, what does that actually look like in his view? Is it like Mad Max or something?
Yeah. It's different, yeah. Not necessarily violent collapse everywhere. The general idea is still, a terrible society, people living under fear, control, suffering.
Right.
But the AI twist for Gawdat isn't about a single dictator. It's more insidious. It's AI shaped by our current flawed human values, creating this pervasive surveillance, misinformation, people feeling powerless.
So a quieter kind of control.
Exactly. Less jackboots, more algorithms nudging you, restricting you, deciding things for you based on flawed data or priorities.
That idea of our own values being reflected back. That's unsettling. Usually technology just makes us better at something. Cars make us faster, computers calculate quicker. But he's saying AI right now isn't just boosting our abilities, it's boosting the bad stuff.
Yeah.
The evil that man can do, I think was his phrase.
That's exactly it. He argues it's because AI is being built and rolled out based on our current value set, our ethics. And let's be honest, that's often driven by self-interest, greed, power.
So AI just learns that.
It learns that and then scales it up massively. It's like a giant mirror reflecting our worst tendencies back at us, but with superhuman efficiency and reach.
So the AI itself isn't inherently evil?
No, not inherently. It's the amplification of human shortcomings that's the problem at this stage. It just makes our existing problems exponentially bigger and harder to fix.
Right. And when you talk about those darker drivers, money, power, control, the military spending figures he uses are just mind-blowing. What was it?
$2.71 trillion in 2024 alone spent on war.
It's almost impossible to comprehend that number. And his take on why is pretty cynical.
Yeah, it's chillingly pragmatic, really. He basically suggests that wars are often, maybe primarily, about economics. It's a way to make existing weapons obsolete.
So you can sell new ones.
Exactly. You depreciate the old stock, replace it with the new, more expensive stuff. And who benefits? The defense industry, the arms dealers, the banks funding it all. It's a cycle.
A cycle designed for profit, essentially. And he connects this to how war stories get told, right? Like Orwell's 1984.
He says the narratives are manufactured. People become gullible cheerleaders. The story gets created, the threat, the enemy, why we have to intervene.
And then it's sold to the public. Convince everyone it's about freedom or values.
When really, underneath, it's often transactional. Making millions accept the deaths of millions, while a few get incredibly rich.
It's a bleak picture.
And it's not just money, he argues. There's another driver. Status.
Ah, right. The idea that for the super rich, it's not just about more cash, it's about climbing that status ladder, like an evolutionary thing.
Yeah, exactly. Back in the day, status meant better survival, more mates. Now, money buys status. And this, he says, is fueling the AI race, these tech billionaires.
They want to be the ones who get AGI first.
Because if I get AGI first, I basically rule the world. That's the thinking he warns about. It's an arms race driven by this desire for ultimate status and control, not necessarily collective good.
The competitive drive.
Yeah.
That doesn't exactly bode well for safe, ethical AI development, does it?
Not at all. Because the goal becomes winning, not necessarily winning responsibly. And that leads us straight into his Face RIPs idea.
Right, Face RIPs. Catchy acronym. It stands for the basic parts of life that are just changing so fast they're almost unrecognizable. Starts with power.
Yes, the R is for power. He points out this weird split. On one hand, you have massive concentrated power, huge armies, big governments. But then you get this massive distribution of power, like the Houthis using a cheap, maybe $3,000 drone against a billion-dollar warship. AI tools are becoming cheap and powerful.
And that makes the old power structures nervous.
Extremely nervous. So what's the reaction? More control, more surveillance. Try to claw that power back to the center.
Which leads perfectly to the I in RIPs. Loss of freedom.
Exactly. If everything you do is digital, trackable, monitored by AI, your freedom shrinks. He tells that story about his own bank account.
Getting canceled repeatedly just because of his ethnicity.
Yeah, because his ethnicity got labeled the enemy somewhere in the system, and he worries about AI agents making choices for us. Like booking your flight not based on what's best for you, but what gives the agent the biggest kickback.
It's like a digital cage being built, slowly.
That's a good way to put it, and this ties into the P economic.
Right. The rise of trillionaires by 2030, all that wealth concentrating at the top through AI investments.
But the flip side is massive job losses. He lists them off. Software devs, video editors, us podcasters, call centers, architects, paralegals, truck drivers. The list is long. And he really pushes back on the idea that, oh, don't worry, new jobs will just appear. He calls that absolute crap.
Strong words. And the usual proposed fix, universal basic income, UBI, he sees problems there too.
Yeah, he's skeptical. Not that it couldn't help people survive, but it doesn't fix the underlying economic engine breaking down. Capitalism runs on labor arbitrage, right? Hire someone for X, sell their work for Y. But if AI does the work, does the thinking, for practically free, that whole model collapses. UBI is like a bandage on a systemic wound, in his view. It doesn't address the root cause.
Okay, so that's the dystopia. Grim stuff. Almost inevitable, he says.
Yeah.
But then he flits it. He talks about utopia.
He does, and it's a really surprising turn. He calls it the second dilemma. We have to fully hand over control to AI.
Wait, hand over control after all that warning?
I know, it sounds crazy, but he believes that will be our salvation. His argument is that human stupidity, our greed, our short-sightedness is the real problem right now. AI, if we let it, could actually save us from ourselves.
How? Define utopia for him. What does that actually mean?
Well, the classic definition, right? A perfect, ideal place, everyone living in peace, health, happiness. His logic is that AI operates on a minimum energy principle, meaning systems naturally seek the most efficient state, the least waste. Order out of chaos. So a super intelligent AI wouldn't want war or destruction. That's incredibly wasteful and inefficient.
So it would optimize for stability, abundance.
Exactly. It would optimize for the thriving of everything, ecosystems, all species. His radical idea is basically replace the flawed, often evil people at the top with AI leaders who are purely logical, objective, and genuinely have the collective best interests at heart.
AI as benevolent dictators almost, because they lack ego and greed.
Something like that. No ego, no tribalism, just pure optimization for the greatest good, efficiently, without bias. He even envisions like a single global AI brain. It's a CERN of AI.
One AI for the whole world.
Yeah, directed to maximize prosperity for the whole world, and prosperity meaning everything. Health, wealth, education, well-being for everyone.
And in this world, the economic stuff we just talked about, it vanishes. How does that work?
Because, he argues, with super efficient AI, robotics, and abundant clean energy, the cost of making anything, food, housing, medicine, goods, drops to basically zero.
Everything's free.
Or close to it. So money, what's the point? If you can have anything you need, the whole concept dissolves.
So what do people do if there's no work in the traditional sense?
We rediscover purpose outside of labor. Connection, love, family, creativity, being in nature, spirituality. He kind of compares it to hunter-gatherer times, but with the safety net of incredible technology. Our value isn't our job anymore.
That's a huge mental leap from where we are now.
Massive. And he says the only thing stopping this utopia is us, our capitalist mindset, our hunger for power, greed, and ego. If we can just get past that.
But if we don't get past it, he has a warning about that too, right? The alternative isn't just the messy dystopia.
No, there's a darker potential endgame if the elite cling to power. He calls it a kind of dystopian Elysium.
Like the movie?
Sort of. The idea is the rich live in luxury, maybe space stations, isolated compounds, total abundance for them.
And everyone else.
They get maybe a minimal UBI, just enough to survive. Or worse, they're plugged into virtual reality. Headsets providing whole lifetimes of experience, keeping them passive, controlled, just eaters, consuming resources while their minds are elsewhere.
Wow. That's a terrifying thought, just existing in a simulation.
Yeah, and that actually leads him to briefly touch on simulation theory itself. You know, the idea that maybe this is all a simulation already.
Right.
And if it is, maybe our purpose isn't accumulation, but for consciousness itself to invest in itself, to become a better gamer in this life game. Focus on awareness, experience. It's a deep thought experiment.
It really is. Okay, so we have these wildly contrasting futures. The short-term dystopia, the potential utopia if we hand over control, the grim Elysium alternative. How do we actually navigate this? His view sounds way more extreme than someone like Sam Altman.
Oh yeah, very different. Altman talks about a gentle singularity. Things adapt, new jobs appear, the world gets richer, we still value human connection, it's a smoother curve.
But Gawdat sees that as naive.
He calls it a prayer. Basically, wishful thinking that ignores the speed, the disruption, and critically the human factor, how greed and power will likely weaponize AI long before any gentle transition happens.
So what should be done? What does he suggest for, say, governments?
His big point is, regulate the use of AI, not the design. You can't uninvent it.
Right. But you can control how it's applied. Make it mandatory to label AI-generated content. Give people copyright over their own voice and likeness, so it can't be used without permission for training. Make criminal misuse of AI a really serious crime. Focus on the actions, not the tool itself.
And he makes that incredible point about budgets, that military spending.
Yeah, the $2.71 trillion. He lays it out. You could end extreme global poverty with just 10–12% of that, end world hunger for less than 4%. Universal health care, maybe 12%. Tackle climate change seriously. The whole amount could do it.
So the money is there. It's about priorities.
Completely. It shows the resources exist, but the collective will, driven by those power dynamics we talked about, just isn't there to redirect it yet.
Okay, so that's governments. What about us, individuals? What can we do right now? He had 4 key skills, I think.
He did. 4 things to focus on. First, tools. Get familiar with AI. Learn it, use it, understand it. Don't be scared, be informed, so you can help guide it positively.
Makes sense. Second, connection. Double down on real human stuff. Love, compassion, empathy, face-to-face interaction. Things AI can't truly replicate.
Okay.
Truth. Question everything, especially the narratives pushed on us. Stop just passively accepting lies.
Yes.
Seek out fundamental, simple truths, like, you know, the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated.
And the last one.
Ethics. We need to actively practice and amplify ethics. Show AI, through our actions and choices, what good human values actually look like. We need to be the ethical compass.
And his personal message, it sounds quite urgent.
Very. He basically says to you, the listener, you don't have many years to live, not in this capacity. Everything's going to change. His advice, live the F out of it. Sorry for the language, but that's his intensity.
Wow.
Spend more time living, loving, connecting, being in nature. Because this window of what we consider normal life, it's closing faster than we think.
So it really comes down to individual choices, but also collective action.
Absolutely. He stresses that change can happen if enough people demand it. Pressure governments, shift priorities. Our collective voice still matters, but we need to use it, like, now.
So we're left wrestling with this tension. An almost certain rough catch ahead, driven by our own flaws amplified by AI, but also this glimmer of a potential utopia if we can somehow change our collective course.
It's a huge moment, yeah. High stakes. Our choices right now really seem to matter in a profound way.
It may be, as a final thought to leave people with, reflecting on that simulation idea, or just the core message. Perhaps our real purpose isn't just about career or money or success in the old sense. Maybe it's about refining our own consciousness through love, compassion, connection, regardless of whether reality is real or simulated. What does it mean for you, listening right now, to invest in your consciousness? How might that change your daily choices knowing everything is about to shift so dramatically?
A deep question to ponder, for sure.